It's interesting you say that.
Yeah, exactly that, Sal. Funnily enough, from parking tickets to speeding fines, councils in England hand out around 10 million penalty point notices every year.
But some of those are being issued unfairly, according to the local government ombudsman. It says some councils are not doing enough to explain how motorists can actually challenge those tickets.
I should have said penalty notices, not penalty points, which are different. We've been to a fine hotspot, imagine that, to ask drivers about their experiences.
I was getting my child out of the car with my wife, went and made sure that they were okay in the house, literally got back in the car, and within that time I was given a car parking ticket. So the council didn't want to know at that time, so I don't think it is fair.
You didn't even know you could appeal or anything, so not one thing to say you could appeal, just pay it to release the car. No follow-up letter, anything.
My mum had a parking fine, and they were sending letters saying it was going to have to go to court, so instead of the hassle she just paid it off in the end.
I did think they might have cut us a bit of slack because we did have a blue badge displayed in the car, but they didn't. And we didn't appeal, so it was a fair cop, really.
Stupid if they park where they shouldn't park.
It's just chaos. It's just, you don't know what number to phone, you get through, there's always somebody else on the other end of the line. It's just madness. And now, more so now than ever, there's nowhere to park at all.
Well, joining us now is Jeanette Miller from the Association of Motor Offence Lawyers. Good morning to you. We're getting loads of comments on this. I'll try and read some of those a little bit later to you. But why is it so hard to appeal these notices?
I don't know is the answer to that. I think this report that's come out today is talking about giving more information at the point of the notice being issued. I'm not sure that's going to help. If you look on the website for the various organisations that you can appeal to, there are flowcharts supposedly making the process simpler. But to be honest, I'm a lawyer and I find it complicated to decipher. So I'm not surprised that motorists have this perceived unfairness of the whole system.
Right, and one of the things that some people have been talking about is there's an offer, isn't there? If you send the money in within 14 days or whatever it is, you can pay half the fine.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that they try to appeal, send in the money, but the money goes, but it doesn't appear that the appeal is heard.
Yeah, so if you send in payment with an appeal, it's likely that payment will be accepted. It shouldn't be, but I think people...
And the appeal is just ignored.
Yeah, so I think if you're hedging your bets, trying to take advantage of that 50% discount, unfortunately, it's probably going to scupper the appeal process. So it is very unfair to the motorist.
Lots of people have made the point today, and I'll put this to you. Do you think that parking fines, they generate so much money that it's not in the council's best interest to make people as aware as they should be of those challenging processes that you can go through?
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved in a number of different exposés on supposed revenue raising that I think is a motivation for some local authorities in actually issuing the number of notices that they do. And I think motorists do feel that there is this sort of conflict of interest. So I'm not sure that the motorist has a fair situation when they are facing a notice and fine.
I mean, the Local Government Association gave us a response. Councils are on the side, they say, of hard-pressed motorists. Try to ensure there are spaces available for everyone at all times of day and keep traffic moving. A tiny minority do not park appropriately and cause congestion, as well as making it more difficult and dangerous for others to park. I mean, there is a point there, isn't there, about people who are parking illegally, dangerously and all the rest of it.
Yeah, the whole purpose of parking rules is supposed to ensure the free flow of traffic. However, 10 million notices issued last year I don't think is a tiny minority. That doesn't quite reflect what they're saying there. So I think there is certainly a significant proportion of notices that are issued unfairly.
Lynn says, I parked in a council car park, I had a valid ticket, there were only 3 cars in the car park. I got a ticket for not wholly parking in the bay. The entire car park was covered in snow and there were no bays visible. She challenged it and was fine. Ken parked in the main car park while attending a funeral, paid for an hour. The funeral went on longer than that. I wrote to explain the circumstances and the fine was revoked once I'd given evidence of the order of service. And Rick as well, who's taken the law sort of into his own hands. I put a sign on my dashboard saying, by placing anything on this car, you are agreeing to pay the vehicle owner £70. If I get a ticket, I take a picture of the ticket when I sign it and I send it to the issuer of the invoice, I've never heard a thing back. Would you advise along those sorts of lines?
I think that could be slightly dangerous. I'm not sure whether that will be in relation to local authority notices or private parking, perhaps private parking matters.
Because there is a difference, isn't there?
There is, yeah, and that can also be confusing to the motorist, trying to decipher which notice have I got, who do I appeal to, and that just confuses the whole situation.
Just really briefly, what's your advice to people then? If they think that they, genuinely, for whatever reason, they shouldn't have been given this ticket, what's your advice?
There are lots of free information guides out there, Citizens Advice being probably the best one to look at, and certainly research what you can do. Unfortunately, there aren't going to be many lawyers that can help because a lawyer will charge more than the notice in dispute.
And if it does say you've got 14 days, otherwise the doubles the fine, should people worry about that, or can they appeal anyway, but appeal first and then you can still pay at the lower rate?
If your appeal is lost, then unfortunately you've lost that 50% discount.
Okay, so yeah, you can see why people get frustrated about this, can't you?
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you very much.